What's up, y'all? Happy Wednesday. All right. I don't have a buttload of time, but I wanted to touch base on something I've kind of been avoiding for whatever reason. This won't apply to everybody because everyone doesn't have kids, but if you want to watch anyway, um, do so. It's still an interesting topic. There's a lot on the internet about how to co-parent with a narcissist. And everyone has all these tips and things like that. I'm going to give you what I think. What I think is you can't. So don't, right? What do you mean don't? I mean literally don't do it. If you have not been taken or pulled into court by that narcissist um, in a custody battle or something, leave them the fuck alone. Yeah, you can do it by yourself. Is it fair? No, but is it fair to subject your kids to that maniac, that psychopathic individual? No. If you can avoid that, then I would say avoid it at all costs. Don't. You'll be doing so much more damage to the kids by letting them be around somebody like that. Because first of all, even if you went to court with a narcissist, the only reason they would ever even pull you into court for a custody battle is just to bother you and ruin your day. If you were to literally be like, hey, narc, you don't have to take me to court. You can come and get these kids whenever you want to. They would never show up. You know why? Because really, in all actuality, they don't want them kids. They didn't want them kids before you even made those kids. I know that's harsh, but I mean, I don't have time to sugarcoat shit. So they never wanted those kids. If anything, they thought it would trap you into something, into some kind of commitment with them, because you'll have to see them for at least 18 years, right? Not to mention, you won't ever forget them in general, because there's no way you can look at your kids and not obviously know that they have that other parent, which just so happens to be a narcissist. Parenting with a narcissist isn't possible because in order to co-parent with someone, they have to be able to parent. And they can't even parent themselves, right? They are a grown adult child. I think even giving them the 5-year-old mark is actually is too nice. I think they are like 2 or 3. I'm gonna say 2. 3 is kind of pushing it. They're like forever 2 years old in their head. They are a permanent adult toddler throwing consistent tantrums on a daily basis throughout the entire day for the rest of forever, and that's not going to change. Okay, as someone who has a child with a narcissist and has been I am the child of a narcissistic parent. I can tell you, as an adult now looking back, I would have much rather never have been forced to even interact with my biological father, right? And it would have been nice if he wasn't forced to interact with me, because all it did was put me in an abusive household whenever I had to visit him. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, whoever that narcissist, whatever supply they're with at the time, they're going to let that person do and say whatever they want to your child. Okay? I.e., I'll just give you like one example. One time, like, obviously I know that Santa Claus isn't real or whatever, but it was really around Christmas time, and my mother like did the best she could to pretend like, oh, Santa's coming, whatever, that's what she wanted to do. Let me just note before I finish this story, the narcissist will reverse every single rule you have in your house, every single way that you do things. If you eat at 6:30 p.m., they're going to make sure that the kids eat at 8 or 9. If you tell them bedtime is at 10 or 11, they're going to let the kids stay up till 3 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to, if you say you can't have candy or whatever unless it's like a certain day or a special occasion, they're going to make sure they give them bundles of it at all times at their house. everything that they do is going to be set up to make you look like some straight shit. Okay, so when I went over to my dad's, I remember it was Christmas time. My mother hadn't told me Santa Claus didn't exist yet, but he allowed my stepmom to just look me in the face and go, and by the way, before you go home, Santa Claus doesn't exist. I'm like, as a kid, of course, right? And it's okay to teach your kids you don't have to teach your kids that, right? But it wasn't her job to say anything to me, let alone anything like that. But he and my stepmom made sure that when I got home, whatever my mother had planned was going to go down in flames because my mother had no idea. So they sent me back so that when my mother said anything about Santa Claus, I'm like, the fuck, that's a lie. My mom would be like, well, where'd you get that from? Oh, well, they told me. She was disappointed, right? So anyway, I think that honestly, you'd have a better opportunity at a co-parenting situation if you just walked into any of your nearest daycares, walked up to the first 2-year-old that you see, grab them by the shoulders, and aggressively go, "Hey, you need to come with me and help me take care of my kids." That 2-year-old, in all of their 2-year-oldness, would be better at parenting with you than a narcissist would, because you see how egregious and ridiculous that scenario just sounded? That's exactly how ridiculous it is to think that you can remotely co-parent with a maniac, a psychopath, someone malicious, a demon. Why would you do that? Well, I need the money. I need child support. Good luck finding their ass, let alone obtaining any of that, because they never stay in one place. They damn sure aren't going to give you the proper information. And if somehow you get the proper information and you take them to court and maybe receive some child support, that's opening a gateway for them to think that they can come in and out of you and your child's life for the rest of the 18 years or until they're 21 or whatever the shit. So how much is it really worth it to you to get that little bit of trash ass money that sometimes they don't even pay the full amount any damn way? So I mean, why open Pandora's box when you know you can't close it, right? That right there is horrific. Fun fact, do you know why mammals, right, why warm-blooded animals like that have the particular amount of nipples? I know, that's a weird question. Did she just ask me why mammals have a certain amount of nipples? Yes, I did. You know why? Because you want to know why humans have only 2? Unless there's a birth defect or something, you might have a third one somewhere. I don't know. But it happens, right? But we're talking about something that's not that. You know why they only have 2 and why your cats and dogs and shit be having like 12 whole ass nipples and shit? You have the amount of nipples according to the amount of babies you are genuinely supposed to have at once, like the maximum amount of babies you can have at once, which is why, triplets and quintuplets and anything past that is pretty much a defect of in vitro, usually, right? So, but not to get all scientific, but for the most part, humans don't really have more than like 2 at one time, right? In order to be with that's so they can nurse at the same time and you can actually like feed them. In order to be with a narcissist, though, you'd have to grow. If we were built to be with narcissists, you would be born with a 3rd nipple because they damn sure going to be hanging off your tits alongside them children. Okay? The narcissist hates kids. Why do they hate kids? Because they think they are one. When you're feeding them kids, they got their baby bird mouth open too. Right? You don't have a husband. You don't have a wife. You have an extra mouth to feed that doesn't take care of itself and can't. Right? You can't live like that. You can't co-parent with something that thinks that it's a child that's mentally behind. I mean, I know that, well, I can't use that word, so I don't know the right word. We'll just say mentally challenged or whatever when it comes to growth, right? When it comes to maturity. Okay? So no, that narcissist not only hates your kids, even if they're they're the parent of that kid, right? They hate them, and they definitely hate their stepkids, but they hate any child that's in the household and connected to you, because not only do they themselves think they're a child, they want that attention. Anything that takes attention from them is a problem. Children are no exception to the game, baby. Not the narcissistic game, okay? Whenever you buy your child something, they're going to be looking like, damn, you bought them new shoes, but you didn't buy me new shoes. Or you bought them a video game, but I didn't get a new video game. Like, I'm not supposed to, you bitch. Go to work, bitch. Go to work, bitch, right? But they never do. And so they're in competition. When that narc was in my household, he interacted with my son as if he was my son's older brother, like as if he was a teenage brother to my preteen son. Just, well, but you had that and I got it first. And I mean, I was like, what the fuck? It was bad. So let me calm it down, but don't be calm though. You do not want to co-parent with a narcissist. Here's another question. People ask, well, what if that fucks my kids up in the future because they don't have the other parent? Bitch, you don't have the other parent anyway. I don't care if the narc still lives in your house. Just because someone's next to you does not make them present. Okay? Just because I'm sitting next to you or laying down next to you does not make me mentally or emotionally present. Okay? They weren't there anyway. And it takes me back to that story that I told you guys a long time ago about my midwife. When I was giving birth to my son, when I was taking birthing classes, my midwife, had held classes. And whenever I showed up, a couple of the chicks came there with their boyfriends. And I was sad, like, oh, well, I'm not there with my significant other, so I feel bad. And she pulled me aside and said, you shouldn't feel bad. You're not alone. You're not alone because that person's not here. She said, sweetie, you're alone anyway. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, even if that person's right there, it's your body that has to do that. It's you that has to do that. Birth and death are really essentially the same thing. It's just full circle. You come here by yourself. Are you with your mother? Yeah, but she can only push you out. You have to have the will to want to get out and live, and you have to experience that by yourself. She can experience the inside of her body for you. You experience that. And I don't care whose hand you hold when you die, you're the one dying, right? You're by yourself. So either way, you're alone. But it's better to be doing it by yourself with at least some hope that things will be peaceful. Even if you run out of money and you need to get it, it's better if I were to run out of money by myself than run out of money next to a broke ass nigga that doesn't care, that thinks he's a 2-year-old. Okay? So pick yourself up by your big girl panties or your big boy briefs and pull yourself up by your damn bootstraps and do the shits. Okay? That kind of contact, that in and out, that's what they'll be. Either way, whether they're in the house or outside the house. To your kids, they're going to be in and out of their lives emotionally and mentally. Only thing is, if you get rid of that narc and you cut off contact and you do not co-parent with them, at least they can't abuse them verbally or physically, right? Everybody got issues, and a lot of people whose parents aren't narcs have broken households, if you want to call them broken, but sometimes broken shit looks way more pieced together than shit. And being with a narcissist is some shit. Okay? That is not something you need your kids to see. They ain't going to see you fighting in the house with nobody if that person's not there. They're not going to see you being abused by somebody if that person's not there. Okay? Now, if they see you fighting with somebody and nobody's there but you got a whole nother issue, sweet. But anyway, so yeah. My opinion, just mine, you don't have to take it, is the only way to co-parent with a narcissist is don't. Anyway, obviously I'm fired up about that because I can't stand them. But anyway, love you guys. Happy Wednesday, all right? See you soon. Bye.